In her recent sit-down on the Nikki Exotica show, Teresa revisited one of the darkest chapters of her life, the moment that led her to prison. She recalled the day her ex-husband Joe Giudice turned to her with a simple yet life-changing question. "Can I use your credit?" It seemed innocent at the time, just another favor between husband and wife. But those 5 words would go on to change everything. Teresa explained that Joe needed to refinance a home, and she, being the trusting wife she was, didn't think twice. "I just signed it," she admitted, her voice heavy with regret, "because I never thought anything of it." That one signature became the beginning of a nightmare, one that would tear apart her family, her reputation, and nearly destroy her. But what really caught fans off guard was Teresa's reflection on how she feels now, nearly a decade later. She revealed that her oldest daughter, Gia, recently told her, "Let it go, Mom. It's been over 10 years. Let it go." Teresa's voice cracked as she recalled the advice, admitting that it still bothers her to this day. "I came home from prison, and I lost my mom 8 months later," she said softly. "That's something I'll never get back." The host sympathized, saying, "You can't get those moments back." And that's when Teresa revealed the moment. She knew her marriage to Joe was truly over. "As soon as I lost my mom, I was like, I'm never getting back with this person again." Her tone turned firm, as if reliving the strength she found in her lowest moment. "Even when he left, I felt like a weight was lifted off me." That one confession stunned the audience. For years, Teresa defended Joe, even as fans and critics accused him of dragging her down. But now, hearing her say those words, it's clear she has no regrets about letting go. The woman who once stood by her husband's side through court hearings and prison sentences has found her peace, and she's finally speaking it out loud. Yet, this wasn't just about Joe. Teresa's interview also hinted at something bigger, something emotional that fans didn't see coming. Because as she opened up about her past, she also touched on her fractured family ties, especially with her brother Joe Gorga and sister-in-law Melissa. The Giudice-Gorga feud has been one of Bravo's most painful family storylines, but Teresa hinted that she might finally be ready to bury the hatchet. "My brother and my sister-in-law I'm not speaking to, but I did reach out," Teresa shared during her appearance on the I Do Part 2 podcast. Her words came with an unexpected mix of strength and vulnerability. "Because you know what? Time does heal all wounds, and when time goes by, you forget things." For fans who've watched years of screaming matches, walkouts, and emotional breakdowns between the siblings, this was the most surprising update yet. Teresa wasn't just reflecting, she was growing. She continued, "I want to be a good example for my children. I have 4 daughters, and I always tell them, always be there for each other. Be a family. If someone doesn't get along, just be the bigger person." That statement hit home for so many viewers who've seen Teresa's transformation, from a woman who once flipped a table in rage to a mother trying to heal generational wounds. She's no longer the fiery housewife consumed by chaos. She's a woman who's learned through pain what peace really means. Still, fans can't help but wonder, is this the end of the Giudice-Gorga feud, or just another pause before the next explosion? And what about Joe Giudice? Has he heard what Teresa just revealed? Because these confessions aren't just emotional, they could reopen wounds and spark new conversations within the family. Teresa's honesty might have come years later, but it's raw and powerful. A glimpse into the emotional scars behind the glitz and glam of reality TV. And for the first time, it feels like Teresa is no longer hiding behind a storyline. She's telling it like it is, and that's why fans can't stop listening. If you're hooked by this emotional truth bomb and want to see how deep Teresa's journey of redemption really goes, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to this channel, because what's coming next will leave you speechless. After years of keeping quiet, Teresa Giudice is peeling back the curtain on what life was really like behind the headlines. And what happened when the cameras weren't rolling is even more heartbreaking than what viewers saw on Bravo. When Joe Giudice was deported to Italy following his release from ICE custody, fans thought maybe, just maybe, Teresa would give her marriage one last try. After all, they had built a family and endured separate prison sentences. But Teresa has now revealed that by the time Joe left, her heart was already gone. Even when he left, she said, I felt like a weight was lifted off me. Those words weren't said with bitterness. They were said with clarity. Years of turmoil had finally caught up to her, and she realized that love isn't about loyalty at all costs. It's about peace. For the first time, Teresa understood what it meant to choose herself. She explained that after her release, she returned home to a world that didn't feel the same. Her mother had passed away just 8 months later, leaving a hole in her heart that nothing could fill. Teresa confessed that this loss became the turning point. When my mom died, she said quietly, that was it. I knew it was over with Joe. I couldn't go back. It wasn't just about prison. It wasn't about the lies, the fraud, or the years of defending someone who had broken her trust. It was about the emotional exhaustion of always having to be the strong one. For so long, Teresa had carried the weight of her family's name, her daughter's pain, and her public image. And when it all came crashing down, she finally saw the truth. She wasn't meant to fix Joe. She was meant to free herself. And that freedom didn't come easy. Teresa spent years rebuilding, not just her reputation, but her sense of self. The yoga retreats, the namaste attitude, the shift in her energy, they weren't just for show. They were the tools of a woman who had been broken and rebuilt herself piece by piece. But her journey wasn't just about survival. It was about transformation. When Teresa met Luis Louis Ruelas, fans were skeptical. After all, they'd seen her love story once before, and it ended in disaster. But Teresa says Louis brought something she hadn't felt in years, peace. He sees me, she once said in an interview. He lets me be me. For a woman who once lived under the shadow of someone else's decisions, that kind of freedom is priceless. Yet even with her new life, Teresa's past continues to echo. The question of forgiveness, for Joe, for her brother, for herself, still lingers. On the I Do Part 2 podcast, she hinted at the possibility of reconciliation with her family, saying, time heals all wounds. But those who know Teresa know that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means moving forward without carrying the pain anymore. And that's what makes her story so powerful. It's not about anymore. It's about strength. The Teresa Giudice who once flipped tables in rage has become a woman who understands that real power is calm, not chaos. She's no longer fighting battles. She's choosing peace. Still, fans can't help but feel that her past with Joe Giudice will always be part of her story. After all, without that chapter, there would be no Teresa Giudice as we know her today. The survivor, the mother, the woman who lost everything but somehow gained herself in the process. And perhaps that's what makes Teresa's journey so compelling. She didn't just come back she came back stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. Her story reminds everyone watching that even when life throws its hardest punches, you can rise again, not just to prove something to the world, but to reclaim your own peace. So as Teresa closes one chapter and steps into another, fans are left wondering, will the Giudice Gorga family ever find their way back together? Will time truly heal those wounds? Or are some scars just too deep? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Teresa Giudice has earned her peace. She's no longer defined by the mistakes of her past or the shadows of her marriage. She's writing a new story, one built on healing, honesty, and hard-won strength. If you've been following Teresa's journey from chaos to calm, and you believe in the power of redemption and growth, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because Teresa's story isn't just reality TV anymore. It's a real-life reminder that sometimes losing everything is what it takes to finally find yourself.